What up, what up, what up, guys? I am here trying something a little unique and interesting for Legendary Talks. Excited to do it. Excited to chat with my great friend, DJ Cassidy. He was involved in the inauguration. I don't know if you guys know, so I can't wait. We're going to be talking all things inauguration. What's up, Frank Roberts? How are you? How you feeling? Yeah, we have Cassidy tonight. Oh, he just joined. Perfect. How do you like my background, Frank? All for you. Cassidy, I think, just joined. So let me... By the way, the weather here is amazing. I'm going to request Cassidy. What's everybody drinking? I'm drinking water. For Cassidy. What's up, Carlos? Waiting to connect with Cassidy. Hopefully he has Wi-Fi. In the past, he has not had Wi-Fi when we've done this. We are family. Yeah, 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 yeah. Waiting to connect. Let me request him again. Oh, connecting. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. I like your outdoor
Thank you.
ambiance.
All for you. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm trying to make this so my head's not cut off. Hold on.
I know, I feel the same way. And mine's a little dark, too.
I always feel like I prep it, and then once I get on this half screen, the prepping goes
Oh,
down the drain.
listen. Okay. We're good.
How are you? You look great.
Thank you. I'm feeling great. How are you
Where
feeling?
are you? I'm good.
I'm in Miami. Where are you?
Oh, you're in Miami. I'm in LA. I haven't left LA in 13 months. I didn't realize that you left LA.
Yes. I'm in Miami for, I just need to change my environment.
I have to say, as crazy as Miami looks, looking at you there makes me feel kind of in the need for a little getaway.
Well, I listened to myself and no, listen, I'm very safe here, so I'm not the norm, but I'm very safe here, so.
Yeah, I hope you're not taking part in the shit show.
No, it's there are no rules here, I will say that. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you. Um,
Yes.
so if anybody's watching, maybe describe yourself. I ask the question every time, but just quickly, briefly describe yourself in case someone doesn't know who you are.
Well, for those who don't know who I am, my name is DJ Cassidy. I've been DJing since I was 10 years old. It's brought me all around the world. It's brought me in front of my musical and cultural heroes for whom I've performed on every corner of the globe. And most recently, it brought me to the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, I created a series called Pass the Mic. And I've released only 4 episodes of the series, but every time I've released an episode, my dear friend Legendary Damon has me as a guest on his show to talk about the previous episode. He likes to call it an annual, even though we've done it 5 times in 1 year. So it's really not annual. It's more of a monthly than an
Listen,
annual.
well, whatever it is, you witch with a B. I enjoy it, and I thank you for doing it. But as you know, I get very excited about it. I'm a huge music lover, as are you. So I think we share that in common, and I think you feel my enthusiasm, through my Instagram alone. So
I
um,
really do. Hold on. I want to say one thing. I really do feel your
okay,
enthusiasm from the very, very first episode.
yeah,
And I do love you for that. You've had over 100 of these shows. I'm sure you're friends with some people, less close with others. We go way, way back, but it's really exciting when I see you post it. You do it without me asking. You promote every show. You promote it before, you promote it after. You really do it for the love, and
it's true.
I love you for that. And I look forward to these.
Yeah,
I really look forward to these. I like letting a week pass, do all my press, and then I get to talk to you about it. And I love how you don't contact me at all. You want it
yep,
to be fresh.
yep. No, no. My Okay, so a couple things. I genuinely love Pass the Mic, as you know. You know, it excites me. And that first one, I think I've told you the story many times. You asked me to watch. You hit me up and you said, "Hey, I think you might like this, or would you watch this or something?" And I said, "Okay." It could have been you playing the violin for all I care. I would have just supported it. You know, I really didn't know what it was, and I said, "You asked me to watch it, therefore I will." It could have been you playing country music. I don't care. You know, so I watched it and I was blown away and extremely excited. I think I called you that first night. And then, you know, it just gets more and greater every time, you know, and I'm equally as excited every time, and they've gotten so much, just, I guess, grander every time. And it's like the first time every time. That was my point. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to talk about it.
And yes, I don't like talking to people in general before I have them on, because I don't want to talk about stuff prior on the phone. I want to talk about it here, you know, so.
Right. I noticed your time change also. These interviews used to be later, right?
I am doing just this one tonight, this time. So.
Oh, okay.
Also,
Well,
something I don't know if I've told you before is I want to commend you for your work with Kamala Harris. I don't think I've said this to you, even, you know, on IG or not. You did work very closely with her and did a lot of different amazing things. And as a result, they won. So congratulations to all of that. So.
Well, I wouldn't quite say as a result of what I did, but
no, but I'm saying, you know, you were doing something about it, and, you know, they won. I'm exhilarated and thrilled. So, you mean?
Thank you. I took part in countless campaign events and rallies for both Biden and Harris, but most notably, I produced a virtual event for the now vice president in August, and I not only produced this whole 3-hour event, but I co-hosted it with her, and she and I were side by side online, and it was a DJ centric, a music centric event, but we really discussed the issues, and we raised, most importantly, $1 million for the campaign. At that time, it was important to raise money, because campaigns need money, especially going against Trump, who had a lot of money. And that was a real turning point in my relationship with her and the campaign. And I was very much hoping I was going to get a call, but I never thought the call would be the one I got.
Well, okay, so I don't know the story. So, I basically, you know, we all know the inauguration was last week, and, you know, there's little old New York City Cassidy, you know, performing in the inauguration. How did that come about?
Well, towards the end of the campaign, of course, I wished everyone luck, and I said, if you need me for future things, I'm here. And then the election happened, and I emailed everyone congratulations who I had worked with on the various events, and that was kind of that. And I thought maybe I'd get a call to DJ an online event, maybe, right? If they were doing that. I got a call over Christmas. I got an email asking if I was available for a call about the inauguration on December 31st.
You're like, yes, I'm available. You're like, I'm there.
Now, they requested the call be 9 a.m. Eastern. So 6 a.m. in LA. I knew if we were having a call at 9 a.m. on December 31st, that this was an important call.
Yeah.
So we got on this 20-person Zoom meeting, and they told me that the theme of the Parade Across America, which was going to be their afternoon televised inaugural special, was celebrating the everyday heroes around the country.
Yeah.
And as they were telling me this, I couldn't help but think that that was the entire premise of Pass the Mic.
Yep.
For anyone who's watched or hasn't watched, my hello and goodbye is I'm going to celebrate my musical heroes to pay homage to the heroes on the front lines of health, freedom, and justice. It was always about uniting my musical heroes to celebrate the heroes around the country and around the world who really were fighting for us during the year, fighting
Yeah.
for health, fighting for freedom, so on and so forth. And as they were telling me the mission of their television special, I was saying to myself, "Oh my God, are they about to ask what I think they're going to ask?" And I let them finish, and they say, "So we were wondering if you could put together a pass the mic segment for the show." And I literally, my heart dropped.
I'm sure.
Obviously, I've done things for inaugurations before, and I was the first DJ to ever play a presidential inauguration. I played Obama's inauguration in 2009. Then I played his inauguration in 2013 at the White House. I was the first DJ to ever play at the White House. There's been many pinch me moments in my political career, so to speak. This one hit differently because I created this little show from my living room and really have only produced 4 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Only 2 hours worth of show.
Yeah.
Never did I think that the Presidential Inaugural Committee was going to have seen it and seen it to an extent that they would talk about it without me and then call me about it. I did not pitch this.
Yeah.
And, people who know me know that I'm a pitcher. And, some people have asked, so did you pitch that? Which, by the way, would have been nothing wrong with pitching a great idea. But
I agree with you, yeah.
I did not pitch it.
Yeah.
And I was really taken back. And, of course, the answer was yes. How long? When do you need it by? And with
Yeah.
whom?
Yeah.
And I had some time. I had, somewhere between a week and 2 weeks to put together a segment. And obviously it wasn't a 30-minute pass the mic show. It was a 5-minute segment. So I threw around initial ideas. And of course it was about bringing people together, unity, celebration, celebrating this day, celebrating a new beginning, bringing people together. And I immediately thought of Nia Rogers and Kathy Sledge, We Are Family. And I immediately thought of Earth, Wind, and Fire. The song choices are endless for them. And I just knew that those 3 acts were the right people to have. And they were my friends, and they were easy calls to make over the holidays as well, which was great. And I literally, New Year's Day, just got into it. I called Verdine White, Philip Bailey, Ralph Johnson, told them they were on board immediately. The song choice ended up being Sing a Song, which just felt like the perfect way to start. When you are down, sing a song. It'll make you smile. It'll make your day. It'll make you dance. Like, all these words just felt like they belonged to the time.
Yeah.
And they were very timely. And it's a testament to songs. These songs were written, 3 decades ago. And it spoke to the time. And of course, We Are Family needs no explanation. And I called Niall and called Kathy, and I went to work. And that was the segment for Parade Across America.
I have been singing We Are Family since last Wednesday, number one. And then for me personally, the inauguration in itself, I don't think I was prepared for how grand and how, diverse and how engulfingly optimistic it was. And I think for you to be involved in that specific thing is, a triple compliment because, for me, I don't think I was prepared for how extreme it was with the optimism and the diversity. It was exhilarating to look at that, so.
I couldn't agree with you more. When you, I set my alarm that morning because I was, 3 hours 3 hours behind the East Coast, and it got started very early. So my girlfriend Kelsey and I got up, we went in the other room, put the TV on in the den, and it was just like already happening. We got up and they were already filing onto the Capitol steps, and it was like this new beginning we had waited for was suddenly just, was happening. It was like it had just started, it had begun.
It's true.
And it just felt exhilarating, like it really was a new beginning. And no matter what you felt about the campaign, right? We started with a lot of candidates and people had their favorites. And of course, Biden was the guy. No matter where you started at the beginning of this road, you couldn't help but smiling at the TV.
True.
And looking at everyone who was on those steps, and even seeing Obama with Clinton, with Bush,
Yeah. Oh yeah. They came together. They're like, the three of them. There were so many moments that were that whole day. I mean, with just the again, the diversity is how what is struck me the most. But the three presidents kind of coming together. Everything like it was just overnight, like you said, literally. We all woke up that day. I didn't see it coming. I don't think I was prepared for it. But that waking up that day and just being like, oh my gosh, this is the country I want to live in. So
It was really, I can only speak for myself. It felt good. You felt relieved.
absolutely.
And you felt a little optimistic for the first time in a while. By
Yep.
no means do our problems get solved. The pandemic still exists the next day. Racism still exists the next day. Police brutality still exists the next day. But you went to bed that night feeling a little relief, like your
True.
shoulder, like
Less stress.
like a weight was taken off your shoulders. And I think it was a beautiful thing. And after the ceremony on the Capitol steps, they proceeded down Pennsylvania Avenue, and I knew the parade across America was coming. And for those who didn't watch, basically it was this 60-minute special that included performers, famous and non-famous, from all 50 states.
Yeah.
And my Pass the Mic segment featuring Earth, Wind & Fire, Nia Rogers, and Kathy Sledge was part of the parade across America. And I had every channel on. My parents had on New York One. I had on KTLA, the local station in LA, the New York One equivalent, and CNN, and C-SPAN. Randomly, I was like, let me see if C-SPAN shows any of this. And then I had my laptop open, which was YouTube/Biden inauguration. And I said, let me see how many of these things are really going to show this. And they all showed the parade across America. I think CNN had to cut away once when Biden started to sign executive orders. Then they were like, all right, we have to leave the music. Other than that, it was like on my TV, literally, CBS News had it, KTLA, C-SPAN, CNN was going back and forth. I had the website on, and when the show finished, the website had 12 million views right after. Probably now it's at 20. And it was a mind-blowing experience to me. Forget about partaking in the inauguration. Forget about it being on television for the world to see, as opposed to the things I've done in the past, which were private.
Yep.
But the Pass the Mic inclusion of it, that hit different, because
I agree.
I had no grand plan for this, Damon, as you know.
I know.
And this started in July, and who, excuse my language, who the F would have ever thought? I don't know if they take you down for cursing on Instagram Live. Who the hell?
Probably not.
Who the hell would have ever thought? And then, should I tell you how this story got even crazier?
Sure. Why not?
I turn in the segment.
Mm-hmm.
And the day after I turn it in, I'm woken up by a phone call from the Presidential Inaugural Committee saying, we loved the segment so much, we were wondering if you could get another one together for the night show. Now, basically, I had 2 weeks for one and 2 days for another. I'm rounding up or whatever, rounding down, but essentially it was that big of a difference. And, I knew the night show was called Celebrating America. It was a continuation of Parade Across America, but it was all A-list pop stars.
Yeah.
And they were promoting them. None of them were a surprise. It was Bon Jovi, Justin Timberlake, Katy Perry, Demi Lovato, John Legend, Tom Hanks hosting. Yeah. This wasn't a surprise. It was on every website.
Yeah.
And they were asking me to take part in that, and they cleared another 5 minutes. And we had this idea to focus the segment on a Latin music vibe. And I was excited to expand.
You're past the mic formula.
Expand past the mic, expand the era, expand the genre, expand the audience. And I was psyched to put together this kind of celebration of modern day iconic Latin music.
Yep.
And to really diversify what the show is and to bring something new to their show. And it turned out to be this incredible 5-minute Past the Mic segment featuring Ozuna doing Taki Taki and Luis Fonsi doing Despacito.
Yeah.
And, you know, these two songs are not only like the two biggest Latin music songs of the past decade, they're like two of the biggest songs of the past decade.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting again in my den with my girlfriend watching CNN, and my mother and my father and sister are on a text text chain with me. And I'll be honest with you, it was nearing the third act of the show, and I hadn't come on yet. And I wrote to my family and I said, if they cut my segment, it's all good. The afternoon was amazing.
So
and my mom's going, it doesn't matter. The afternoon was amazing.
That's so funny.
And I'm literally thinking like, all right, you know, maybe they didn't have the extra 5 minutes. And lo and behold, John Legend finishes and it leaves the Lincoln Memorial and shows a map, and it brings the map to Los Angeles, which was interesting because they're from Puerto Rico, I'm from New York, but it showed where we filmed it, right, in LA, which I thought was cool. And it just starts, and they kept my artwork, which I was told that they're not going to use the graphics, but I put them in anyway. And my artwork's on the screen, and I have to say, Damon, it was probably the most exciting 5 minutes of my life.
Well, okay, so for me, you know, I want to ask you this. Like, so take me back to, like, you know, you're coming up with this, you know, we're in the pandemic. D-Nice is becoming this superstar. Everybody's kind of doing these virtual things, and you come up with this idea to do Pass the Mic. You do your first Pass the Mic in July, and then, you know, you've done 4, you said, since then. Then you get, you know, do this a lot of work with Kamala Harris, and then you get asked to be involved in the inauguration, which is 33 million viewers. So I want to know what's going through your head, kind of in that. After they call you, you're doing it. What are you really? What's really going through your head? You're like, oh my gosh, I created this thing, you know, 7 to 8 months ago, and now it's literally going to be for the inauguration for 33 million people. What's going through your head for real? You mean?
For the 2 weeks that I worked on it, I blocked all that out, and I went into a zone like no other zone. Normally when I film Past the Mic, my girlfriend Kelsey vacates the house because the house becomes a set.
Yeah.
And I have my cameraman. He's getting COVID tested every 24 hours. I'm getting COVID tested every 24 hours.
Yeah. And
it's basically silence on the set. So when Kelsey goes to her parents, I know that the business has begun. And I zoned out. I mean, it was, you know, the cosmetic things had to happen. I changed the wallpaper. That changes every time behind me. And, you know, the outfit, the wardrobe had to be made, and the songs had to be chosen, and the songs had to be put together to fit the exact time. For TV, you don't get 5 extra seconds. It's exact. And I had to get my team on board, my editor. I had to get my cameramen on board in the cities that I needed them. And, you know, producing a Pass the Mic segment for BET, which I did for my 4th episode, and producing the Pass the Mic segment for the inauguration were similar because it was producing for television. Yeah. And in a sense, BET was practice because it was good practice for television. So when it was time to do the inauguration, I kind of jumped right into it, and I really kind of just had to dive in the deep end and really just begin producing television. That's what this is. Yeah. And I just zoned out, and I know this sounds so cliche, didn't sleep really for 2 weeks. It was 3-4 hours every night. And then the day came, because that second segment was delivered the day before. The day before. Wow. And I watched it with everyone else. And I'll be honest, not trying to sound dramatic, just trying to sound human and real. I was nervous like it was live. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was,
Of
I was
course.
nervous like I was performing it on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
Obviously, I couldn't. I've been very transparent about how I produce these shows. It
Yeah.
requires editing and putting together.
Yeah.
And the magic of it is maintaining the humanity and the spontaneity, and then still having time to put it all together. And watching those 5 minutes during the day and then at night it was just really crazy. Verdine of Earth, Wind and Fire, he texted me on Sunday. And he said, just imagine 3 Sundays ago, you called me about the inauguration, and now we made history. And
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
he's such a great cheerleader, and he's so legendary. And he's so, I got to send him this after you post it, because I want him to know how I feel. He, despite having every reason to be cocky, he's so non-jaded. Like, he was as excited as about that moment in the afternoon show as I was. And
No, he's a really sweet, wonderful person. First of all, don't send him this because I'm not dressed up. I'm not dressed that good. And I say about him.
You look great. You look great.
Number one, anytime I know he's going to be there, I dress all the way out, trying to outdress him, which never happens. So, but yes, he's a lovely human being, and definitely, not jaded in any way, and just pure. He's very pure.
He's extremely pure, and he was the first call I made for Pass the Mic.
Yep.
They were the first group on Pass the Mic.
Yeah.
And sometimes they feel not worthy. Like, they give me too much. Like, I shouldn't be getting this much Earth, Wind and Fire. And I love them. And, and this was sometimes I feel like it's kind of too grandiose for me to say it, but I'm going to say it. We did make history. And
of course, you absolutely did. First of all, you are a DJ on the inauguration. I'm sure that's the first ever. So that's historic right there. So
and not only that, Damon, there was no other artist that was on both of the inauguration specials that day.
That's true. Work.
And I didn't realize that. I was doing an interview with, I think, Entertainment Tonight the day after, and they were like, I wasn't saying it like that, David.
A little bit, but
but no, it's true. I was. I posted the interview. I'm proud of it. I thought it was a great piece.
Facts.
I have a right to be proud of it, right? I mean, it was exciting.
Absolutely.
It was an exciting week.
You did an amazing thing. So
but they introduced me. They were like, next up, we have DJ Cassidy, the only artist to partake. And I was like, oh, my God, that is true. And look, I felt everything I felt during those Obama events, but I felt something else because the public got to take part in it.
Yeah.
And everything I did for Obama, those were the greatest nights of my life, by the way. I know we've spoken about them on your shows before, and maybe we will again a little. But those were the greatest nights of my life for so many reasons. I could talk about Obama till I go to bed tonight. He's just amazing. But those parties were private.
Yep.
And it was really special for me for once to be able to do it for the public and to do it with these epic artists, not only iconic legends like Earth, Wind and Nile and Kathy, but Ozuna and Luis, who were like future icons. They're icons of the present, and they've made these iconic records that honestly, I have a niece and nephew who are 9 and 13, and they know every word to those songs. Those songs are universal now.
True. Well, so for me, and part of our recaps is I always like to tell you what I think of all of that. I think Earth, Wind and Fire is like a national treasure. So using them, I think, is something that like every human, can feel and appreciate. And then the We Are Family, for me, it's funny because I didn't really think it wasn't the first thing that would come to my head when I knew you were doing this, but it was so spot on and so amazing. And like I said, I've been singing that song literally since then. I think I played it several times, and it was just defined that moment so perfectly. That song to me.
Thank you. I couldn't agree more. And one thing we forgot, I just want to throw in before we continue, is I had 50 people from throughout America singing along the end of We Are Family. And I actually would like to give that credit to the Presidential Inaugural Committee. They had that idea of bringing in everyday Americans
Yep.
to sing along with the musical heroes. And within those 50 people, there were 3 choirs.
Yeah.
And one was the trans chorus of Los Angeles.
Yep.
And my mind is slipping on the exact names of the other 2, but it's on my Instagram. And so we had 3 incredible choirs who sang along. And that's my favorite moment. And of course, there was one family in there.
Listen, the McKnights, which were amazing, by the way. But for me, it's great to see them. Obviously, O'Neill McKnight, Marion McKnight, Maddie McKnight, our family, basically. But for me, again, watching it, because the people singing came later in the segment, right?
Yeah, the very end, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, again, I just can't stress it enough. It was such a diverse group of people. There was, I think, an Asian male nurse, and there was all these different people, and I just think the diversity was so glorious and beautiful to see. And, with the song, it was just amazing. It was, like I said, the best way to describe it is exhilarating. The whole thing, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then with the second segment, to me, again, what it represented in that segment of Bon Jovi and John Legend and things, it was another form of diversity. And I thought it was really amazing, because I would have expected you to do, something a little more, I guess, old school, basically, and to do something more modern and Latin and all these different things. Again, it just was great, and just lent itself to the message of the inauguration, which was diversity to me, so.
I really think that things happen for reasons, sometimes bad, sometimes good. In this case, amazing. I think the way this panned out really encouraged me to do things I would not have normally done.
Yep.
And I thought that segment for the night show celebrating America was one of those things. It took me out of my normal zone. Good. And it expanded past the mic to a zone I hadn't yet gone to. And I have really big dreams for past the mic in all kinds of genres and eras, and I think this was kind of the first step in really kind of the beginning of a new path for past the mic. And look,
great.
At heart, I'm always going to celebrate the music that's in here, but I think it's really important to for Pass the Mic to represent what I represent as a DJ when I DJ live, which is all kinds of music for all kinds of people. And I was always known, throughout my career, as the DJ that could play that could play all music for all people.
Yeah.
And I've always played all genres of music from all decades, all eras, and I think this is the beginning of something really great.
Well, I do want to say this, and this is what I was thinking about you today, and I said, the reason that I think, because it has, relatively speaking, gotten very successful in a very short period of time past the mic, it's because you weren't doing something, you were doing something that someone else had done. You were doing something original, but you also did it, you remained true to yourself and true to what you love. And I think you just stayed in that frame of mind. And as a result, that Pass the Mic was birthed. That's how I see it. And I think because of that, that's why it's gotten so hugely successful, because it was birthed because you were doing something that you love, basically. And you stayed I don't mean this as an insult. You stayed in your own lane. You weren't trying to do something that was not DJ Cassidy. Do you see what I'm saying?
I couldn't agree with you more. And even when I was producing the segment for the night show, I knew the records that I chose had to be records that I've played at nightclubs 100 times.
Yep.
So, for example, when you watch that segment and you see Taki Taki come on and I say, "What's up?" to Ozuna, and he says hello back, and I go, "Bounce to the beat, just bounce to the beat, bounce to the beat, just bounce to the beat." I've done that little bit to that part of the song at every club that I've played at for the past 3 years. So for me, it was natural. I always say this about Pass the Mic. When I do interviews and people say, "How do you choose the songs?" The songs already have to be in here. I can't,
Yeah.
if I have to learn the song, it's the wrong song.
I agree with you 100%.
It doesn't matter what the genre is. I have to know the song in and out. I have to already have my little ad-libs that I do to that song in here. And then it's natural.
Yeah.
And all the songs I've done with Pass the Mic, including the 2 in the night show, all were natural to me because I've been playing these songs for years, whether it's 3 years because the songs are 3 years old or 30 years. I've been playing these songs for as long as I've known them.
Well, you basically feel the song. That's what it is. You feel it. You mean?
Yeah.
So what stands out to you, or any like, you know, behind the scenes or any highlights from this current Pass the Mic? What stands out to you?
Oh my.
I love the story about them calling you 2 days before, you know, to do an additional one.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, I mean, I could talk about this forever, is one thing that comes immediate to mind is choosing a song with Earth, Wind, and Fire is a very difficult thing to do.
Yep, of course. Yeah, exactly.
It is a very difficult thing to do. Now, Nia Rogers, many anthems. Don't get me wrong. Many anthems.
You're right.
But We Are Family, to me, was a no-brainer, and the committee agreed. Earth, Wind, and Fire, September.
I know.
Let's Groove Tonight, Boogie Wonderland, Fantasy really would have carried the emotion of the day. And I went back and forth on this for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And I did it largely by myself. I didn't want to consult too many people. Once you start to get too many votes, it becomes complicated.
Yep.
And I'm so happy I chose the record I did. Sing a Song was so perfect. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize it was as perfect as it was until I was sitting on this chair right over here in front of me where I sit.
And watching it.
No, and actually doing it. And I did it with Philip first, and then Verdine, and then Ralph. And that first round with Philip, I knew it. It felt like the beginning of something new. Yeah. And when I watch it back, it was perfect. It was really, really perfect. So that's one thing that comes to mind. Luis and Azuna were great because I had never met them. Yep. And I had never spoken to them on the phone. Yeah. So normally with Pass the Mic, if I don't already have a relationship with an artist, I connect with them on the phone first. We talk it out. I bring them up to speed. We schedule a time. This was very fast. Yeah. So I spoke to their managers and I scheduled them both for the same day. And Luis was shooting a music video in Miami and Azuna was on vacation in Vail, snowboarding. So funny. So I'll give you some inside scoop. Although both of their backgrounds look like they're home, neither of them were home. Amazing. Luis was at a home shooting a video, and Azuna was at a mansion Airbnb snowboarding. So funny. And I always love these rare occasions of doing this with someone I've never met because I sit down and I'm getting ready to get on with them. And, you know, how I do Pass the Mic is a whole different thing. And what I reveal is, you know, neither here nor there. But essentially, there's one way that I do interact with them, you know, in a very real way, and that's live. And I get on with them for the first time, and I think neither party knows what to expect. Like, how's this going to go? What's the rhythm? What's the process? And they were just so great. And really, I take none of the credit. I don't know how much of Pass the Mic they had seen or where, or were aware of. I believe they had watched an episode or two prior to doing it, but they were there for Joe and Kamala, and I knew that, and I was very honored that they were trusting me to bring them to the inauguration. I knew that Earth, Wind, and Fire, Niall, and Kathy had a real, sincere trust in me. And I knew that they were comfortable with giving me this and you putting it together. These two guys had two of the biggest songs in the history of popular music. Literally, I think top, two of the past top 5 or 10 songs of the decade. And here they are basically saying, okay, we're performing at the inauguration and we're going to do this with you, let you take it and you put it together. And that's a really big honor. And
You're right.
I didn't, let that go. I wanted them to know that I recognized it. And they were great.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been warmer, sweeter, kinder, and more patient. And we knocked it out. And it came together in record time, and also kind of kicked me in the ass to show me that maybe I don't need a month to put together these shows.
So funny. That's great. I like the story that they called you 2 days before and like, can you do another one? You mean? Well, so I just want to say that, I think seeing your Pass the Mic grow has been incredible for me, but also you being involved in this one is obviously, a huge, huge, huge milestone in your career. But the diversity of your thing even, was so amazing to watch, the diversity of your Pass the Mic within that diverse inauguration. So it was amazing.
I mean, I will tell you I'll tell you 3 reactions that I loved after the fact.
Yeah.
So my phone literally blew up. I think we used that word too lightly. My phone has never blown up before. So I'm never going to use that phrase again. I didn't know what it meant prior to that day. My phone actually never blew up prior to January 20th. Yep. Never. On the 20th, it blew up, and everyone that I knew in my life had seen this, and it was exciting for me that they got to share in it. Remember, as I said before, I used to leave the White House and wake up my grandmother at 4 a.m. to share what had happened, and no one really quite felt the passion I had the next day because no one saw it.
Yeah.
So I'm scrolling through real quick, and it's done, and I see that I got a text from Puffy, and it was a voice note. And this was the voice note. Yo, I'm watching CNN, kid. You made it. I'm so proud of you. You're on CNN, kid. I love you. And you could hear it in the background. He was watching it. And then there was a second voice note right after. And you're in pocket. You're in pocket. You're killing it. You're killing it.
It's good.
And it was exciting for me. I know but for those who don't know, he was a huge part of my career, particularly in the early days. He was the first mega star that hired me, and I was 18 years old, and I DJ'd his 32nd birthday, and I DJ'd his 50th birthday that you came to last year. And so it's been 18 years, and for him to call me really excited about it was amazing. And then I went online after just to search around, and I saw that Chelsea Clinton had tweeted about it. She said, my kids are so excited that Ozuna and Luis Fonsi are performing with DJ Cassidy.
So funny.
And then Cardi B reposted the whole segment because she's on the record, Taki Taki.
Good, great. Yeah, that's great.
And so just seeing, the diversity of the reactions that the segment was getting. And then my favorite tweet was, can we also celebrate DJ Cassidy's interior designer? I love that.
Exactly.
I loved it. That was my favorite.
That's amazing. All right. So Cassidy, I want to thank you for doing our annual, what are we calling this? Our monthly?
I think it's more of a monthly. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for doing our monthly recap. I'm very enthusiastic about it, but your enthusiasm, I appreciate. You're doing things like Entertainment Tonight. You don't have to do my IG Live, but I think you, like you said, you kind of look forward to it. We're old friends.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, we're old friends, and we get to kind of recap something in a way that you probably can't do on an Entertainment Tonight. Talk about things in detail.
And you save these, and I'll be happy to have these in years to come.
Yep, and it'll remind you of the moment probably in a more real way than being on,
100%. And that's why I love doing them.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. But I also want to, like I said, I just want to commend you. Earlier I said for your work with Kamala Harris. I don't think I did that before, and I'm really grateful that you did that and happy you did that. Again, we're doing it out of purity and authenticity, and look where that led to this now. And I'm just really excited to see where Pass the Mic goes, and I can't wait to see the next one. And I mean that 100%, and you know that. So, you know what I mean? So.
Well, I love you. Thank you. I love this show.
Thank you.
I've watched most of them. I love being on it. It's really sincere. It's authentic, and I really do look forward to them. And there is another episode coming in the near future.
When? Do you know? Do you know when yet? Can you say?
It's not in the next few weeks. I need a little longer than that, as I'm just getting over the inauguration. But I'm gonna begin working on it very soon, and I'm excited. You know, it's crazy to think there's only been 4, and I have many segments I'd like to do, and so many artists that I haven't yet been able to pass the mic to, and it's really just begun. And I'm sure we'll be back on this sooner than later.
I still keep waiting for my invitation to be a dancing bobblehead on Pass the Mic.
We have to figure that out, indeed.
I know. All right, Cassie, thank you. I am so proud of you, as you know. I'm thrilled for you. Everybody, I'm sure you know, we're all cheering you on. I think you feel it, but we're all cheering you on. We're all talking about it, and on the sidelines, we're all cheering you on. So keep it up.
Thank you. But, it means the world.
But remain true to yourself, and you can't go wrong, as you know. So,
Always. Thank you so much. And I love everyone who comes in your show. I know Claudine is always on.
She's here, yeah. She's here right now. She's here now, yeah.
Oh, Claudine, I love you. You were such a part of Volume 2 with LL and Rock the Bells. And I think Josie might be on.
Josie's on, yep.
I love you, Josie Sejour. You were such a supporter. You're not only one of my best friends in the world, but you really were Pass the Mic supporter #1. I think Jessica Rosenblum was either on or has been on. She also, Lindsay,
Frank Roberts is on.
Oh, I love you, Frank. You too. I mean, it's just such a great crew of people that I go back with. And, look, any passing of the mic that I do is a direct extension of things I did in my early days with you and all the people I just named. It's a direct extension of Josie getting me into clubs, calling him from payphones, literally, to come downstairs to get me in, of Jessica Rosenblum bringing me on to Puffy parties, and Frank Roberts throwing the hottest Sunday night party, deading my hot Sunday night party at Halo because his Sunday night party was hotter.
Me and Frank Roberts' Sunday night party, first of all.
You and Frank Roberts, I stand corrected. You and Frank Roberts' Sunday night party at Lotus, deading my Sunday at Halo, but we had a good run.
Sorry.
It's all a descendant of that.
I also feel grateful that all these people, everyone you mentioned is pretty, watches a lot of these, and they're also really supportive of my show. And in the same way, Josie, we love you, Josie. Josie's one of the kindest people. But, I am also really grateful that these people support my show and even watch it often, as much as they do. So,
And you've had on Goldfinger, I believe, right?
It was my favorite. It was one of my favorite interviews. Goldfinger is still one of my favorites.
For those who don't know, DJ Goldfinger was really one of the DJs that I studied. Yeah. Particularly in nightlife. I learned a lot from him. I think a lot of my DJing came from a handful of people. Yeah. And he was really one of them. I love him to death. Eric Lepeau, another person who you've interviewed, but who always comes in to watch. He was there before I was, and I learned so much from watching him. So it's great to talk about these new things with the old school crew, because we go so far back, and
True.
Without that crew, there would be no today, for sure.
Well, it's part of our history, and it's important that we know it. You and I know it. So
yeah. So thank you. I love you to death.
Thank you. I appreciate you doing this. Can't wait to see the next Pass the Mic. I'm there. So
I'll be back.
Okay, great. Bye, Cass. Thank you.
Bye. Thank
Congratulations
you.
again.
Thanks so much. Love you.